Hello. I know I'm a little late. Yes. How is everybody out there doing? It's been a rough day today. Excuse my tardiness. I've been ripping and running. Working. Got off work late today, trying to finish up. Some last minute stuff, and got home and was just trying to get things together. But you know what? We's here. Okay. My bad for like I said before, my bad for chiming in a little late. But I'm here. Um, Want to know how everybody week is going so far. It's Hump Day, and I hope everybody's week is going great. And have some pretty good news. A little update that's going on with Extreme School Makeovers. I just want to give you an update on from what I said from last week. Uh, Last week, I was talking about there was somebody that was interested in me coming down and maybe helping out with the schools, but it was in a whole entire another state. Okay. So I went down there, week over the weekend and met with some people on the Sunday, and then did a walkthrough on Tuesday and stuff like that. And they were really interested in me coming in and trying to help out with the schools in the county area. And it would have been like 33 schools I would have overseen. But as I was talking to him, I don't think that was what I really, really, wanted to do, because it would have been, I wouldn't have, and as I, got to talking to him, I wouldn't have been able to implement some of the ideas that I had. Um, so, as we got to talking, they were like, we want you, basically, they wanted me to come into the state and just basically, work for the state, to help get the 33 schools intact and stuff like that. And I said, okay, well, I didn't have a problem with that, and I appreciate them coming in and bringing me down and talking to me and stuff like that. I truly and honestly appreciate that. Just being at the table, sitting down, discussing, certain issues I had, certain, issues they had and stuff like that, and trying to work things out, trying to come to a medium and stuff like that. That was, everything to me. And I think they heard me out, but certain things that I wanted to do, I don't think they were willing to be with. And give or take, I wasn't looking for it to be, like right now. I know everything is a process. I know everything takes time. And one of the things that I wanted to work on was getting the youth program together for the summertime and train kids to help out with the schools. So, we would get, certain kids that went to certain schools and train them during the summertime. So when in season comes, they would know how to, they would know how to do it, and they would be able to help out the janitors to be able to maintain it over the course of the year, or however it may be. Um, they had questions about that. I was, they were like, yeah, but it's hard. I said, but you never know until you get the ball rolling. But you know, giving, I said, we can also pay them for their time. You know, but they were like, that was something that they weren't. really, really, willing to do was, pay them for their time. The most they would have done was community service hours, but they, like I told them, I was like, I don't think you're going to get the turnout out like you would want to just for community service hours. I said, we're in a new day and time now, and by us being in a new day and time now, these kids want to, they want some money. They want something to, be able to put gas in the gas tank. They want to be able to, do certain things, and most importantly, they want to not be wanting to ask their parents for money. They want money for themselves, and that's totally, and me, that's totally understandable. But the more the counties don't want to spend the money on the youth to be able for them to be able to take a sedative, for them to offer a dollar amount. I'm not saying that you pay them $200 or $500 or whatever. You just pay them about hey, we need X amount of people to come in for maybe about 2 or 3 hours, and we'll give you $40. Who that's not. I don't see where that would be bad, and I presented that to them, and they were like, that just wasn't something in their budget right now. So I was like, okay, well, if that's not something that's in the budget, what would be so wrong with me raising the money? Okay, so if I go out and I raise X amount of dollars to try to enhance equipment, I raise money to try to, you know, um, pay the youth and miscellaneous activities and stuff like that. What's wrong with me, going about and doing it that way? They work for that. They were like, no, we're doing any raising for the schools. We'll be willing to do it and this and that or how it may be. So I was like, okay, well, if we're part of the community, and if the community, I said, well, schools work with nonprofits all the time. So what's the difference between working with a nonprofit and a nonprofit, raising funds? What's wrong with a nonprofit? They're doing certain things to get things done for the schools and stuff like that. So if I'm raising money to come up with equipment, if I'm raising money to be able to pay the youth, if I'm raising money to be able to have, maybe like, food giveaways, backpack drives, if I'm, being able to purchase resources for the kids and stuff like that, if I'm raising money and it's going for a good cause, what's totally wrong with that? Because ultimately, that's the ultimate goal, and the ultimate goal is to get the kids back involved in the community. And you're not going to get the kids back involved in the community just by community service hours. You're just not going to do it, And if you give them a little incentive, if you give them a little motivation, they will they'll come out and they'll do what needs to be done. But you have to take the summer, and that's part of my summer program. You have to take the summer to train them when nobody's at the schools. You don't have other kids at the schools. You don't have anything going on. You're not doing any testing. You're not doing, you know, nothing that's strenuous, and it's just, you know, empty building. You bring kids, you put the memo out there. Hey, we got an opportunity for kids to come out for like 3 or 4 hours. We're going to train them how to use the equipment and this and that or whatever. We're paying them $40, or we're paying them $30 for 3 or 4 hours. That's what we're going to do. Okay. We do that. I guarantee you, you'll have a turnout. You'll have a great turnout. because it's 3 or 4 hours during the summertime. Plus, if you offer the community service hours with the $30 or $40, that's killing two birds in one stone. Oh, I can go get community service hours, plus I can go make some money real quick. Okay, cool, bet. You know what I mean? So then once you'll start it in July, then carry it all the way over until the beginning of school. Once the beginning of school starts, then you'll be able to implement a plan, a program, a routine, a schedule. So the kids that go to this particular school, that you can allot time for them to come and maybe pull some weeds, maybe plant some flowers, maybe take the time to, prune some bushes, maybe take the time to edge up the sidewalks and maybe, spray or whatever the case may be. You can take the time out during the course of the day for them to do that. And one person came up and was like, hey, that's all fine and well, but during the course of the day, those machines be loud and it's a lot going on and this and that or whatever. I just think the machine, okay, they got battery operated now. Now, in my opinion, I think battery operated is a waste of time. I don't use it. Reason being, yes, it's quiet, but it doesn't last as long. Okay. And it takes too long for them to charge. And it's just too expensive for, it's just too expensive for what needs to be done at a big property like a high school, middle school, or elementary school. Battery operated equipment is just not feasible for something of that magnitude. Battery operated is good for residential properties, townhomes, stuff like that. I know people who do the lawnmowers. Now, the lawnmowers are something different. Yeah, you can do that, okay, on the schools. But if you're talking about like the blowers, the trimmers, the hedge trimmers and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend the battery operated for none of that stuff. Okay, I'm an all-purpose gas man. Okay, not that kind of gas, but the stuff you get from the gas station. Okay, but there are ways you can work around this stuff, and the more that they don't want to change the narrative, the more that they don't want to um, employ the youth, the more that they don't want to get the youth more involved into the community, the more they're going to keep running into these problems. Okay, and that's one thing that I'm pushing for. That's one of the reasons why my videos really hadn't been out there like that, because I am pushing for to get the youth. I want to, my big thing is I want to partner so I can get the youth involved in the community so we can train them to be able to make the schools better. Okay. That's just my narrative. That's just what I want to do. I think that it can be real good. I think it can be real useful. And, just depending on the old method of, hey, I'm gonna get a janitor to do it, or depending on the old method of, hey, we're going to hire X, Y, and Z to get this done. We're going to train him, and then he or she is going to leave within the next month, and then we got to start all over again, and this and that, this and that. When you have the kids at the school 8 hours of the day, you have them at the school 8 hours at the day, you get a lot an hour. or even if you have to change the time for them to come to school earlier and allot an hour each day for maybe, I want to say 5 kids, just to go around to the planter beds and just make sure the weeds are pulled. Get 5 kids just to tackle each planter bed box and plant some flowers in there. Now, when you're talking about mulching and stuff like that, then I would get 10. Yeah, because that mulch can get heavy. So I would, if you talk about like mulching and stuff like that, dealing with wheelbarrows, pitchforks, or if you're getting the bags and somebody trying to pick it up and put it in the wheelbarrow and this and that, da 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 da, you may have to pay a little bit more, and you may want to get a little bit more kids, plus the janitors, because it's going to be a lot on them. Okay. So that's why, really realistically, that's really why my videos hadn't been out there. Yes, I can keep going out there. I can keep going out there. I can keep going out there by myself and doing this and doing that. But what headway am I actually making? Somebody leave a comment, in the chat. What headway am I making doing it by myself? Okay. Um, what headway am I making trying to hire someone that's maybe my age or a little younger or a little older to come out and help me to do this? Okay. What's and what's the pros and cons of that, and what's the pros of and cons of me getting the youth out there and training them to come out and and they take care of it during the course of the day, because I know certain states they have the county come in or they'll hire certain companies to come in and take care of their stuff. Not all states now, because some states just they got some issues going on. You know what I mean? But they don't want to pay the money. They can pay the money to buy, put up all this real estate and do this and do that and however it may be, but they don't have $40 to pay one kid. That doesn't seem right to me. But they don't want the outsider. They don't want the lawnmower man to put something together to try to make a difference. Okay. So what they want is basically is for me to come in, work for them, and follow their, incentives, their rules and stuff like that. Which I don't have a problem with it. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have to be able to implement what I need to implement. And if I can't implement what I think may be good, if I can't improvise on, if I know something's not working, I have to be able to improvise to get it done. I have to be able to improvise to give the youth the best possible shot at succeeding at this, to try to get them more back involved in the community. And the way to get them more involved in the community is you got to pay them. That's just the bottom line. If you think that's not the solution, if you think that's not the answer, I'm open to all suggestions. All feedback is good feedback. But in today's day and time, by everything being so accessible, by everything being at your fingertips, by you actually not really having to get out there and work, because I know I said this in another live, but I have to keep reiterating this. When I was coming up, we literally had to work for what we had. We didn't have everything that was accessible to us. We didn't have the phones where we can look up everything. No, we actually had to go to the neighbor's house to get an encyclopedia. We actually had to maybe go to the library to look at the dictionary. We maybe had to go outside and look at, go by somebody's house just to see if they were actually home. If we saw some bicycles outside, yeah, we knew that's where everybody was at. But nowadays, it's not like that. And nowadays, you know, they don't do outside these days. And because everything's at their fingertips and they don't have any reasons to go outside like that. And if the parents aren't making them do it, they're not going to do it. I remember, coming home from school and just couldn't wait to get outside. I remember when the weekends came, that was the time to be outside. Just having fun, just in the neighborhoods. But I know times have changed and it's a little dangerous now, and I know it's a little bit more crazy now, but we have to get our kids back in the mode of structure. We have to get our kids back in the mode of of having good balance. Okay. Um and just making them, well, I wouldn't say make them, just giving them the foundation just to be able to get out there and just put forth effort on their own just to see if they can get it done. Okay. It is first slight of failure. It seems like they want to run back into the bubble. And then sometimes as parents, we may want to, you know, put a band-aid on it and tell them it's going to be okay. But the one way we got to get back in the community, get the kids back into the community, is to allow them to know that it's going to be rough. They have to get out there and they have to see what life is all about. And the one way to start by doing that, get them back in the community, get them involved in the community. Okay, if it's not with the schools, it can be with an after school program. It can be with a nonprofit organization. It can be with a food bank. It can be at a homeless shelter. It can be wherever they're helping somebody. Okay? But we have to do it at a point where they're getting paid for it. Okay? Um, when we went out, yes, we went out, we shoveled the neighbor's driveway, or if we saw an elderly person, we helped them with the groceries. Yes, we did all of that. They didn't have to ask us for that. But 9 times out of 10, uh, they probably would give us a little something for it. Okay. I remember when me and maybe about 3 or 4 of my buddies, we would walk around the neighborhood with lawnmowers, knocking on the doors, trying to, get somebody to cut the grass. We was charging like $30 and splitting it up 4 ways and thinking that little bit of money was some money. When we literally, at the end of the day, we'll probably have, after all the yards we did, we probably would have like, $25 between both of us, all of us, or $30 or something like that. After all the, yards that we hit, and we went to the 7-Eleven and just blew it. But it's not like that now, right? So we got to do something to get the kids back involved in the community. And the one way to motivate kids to get them back in the community is we have to pay them. We have to get them community service hours. We have to get them incentives and motivation to want to do it. Community service houses just not going to do it. Hire unskilled janitors is just not going to do it. And waiting for people to come volunteer is not going to do it. You're not going to get a lot of people like me that just going to come up there and just do it. Okay. Reason being, everybody's, busy on the weekends. Really not nobody's looking for the volunteer thing these days. But by me being a landscaper and I see that stuff is wrong and I see that stuff needs to be done, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And that's just me at nature. If I see something that needs to be done, or if I see somebody that needs help, or if I can lend a helping hand somewhere, that's just what I'm gonna do. But I can't have stipulations on what I do. If I'm helping you out with a school, I need to be able to do it and not piecemeal it because that's a reflection on what I do. So I understand that you want to the powers that be or the boards or the supers or whatever the case may be. I understand that they, want their power, they want their clout, they want the attention, they want everything to go through them. They want to, make it like, that they're doing it. But if you get somebody that has ideas, if you get somebody that's willing to work with you, partner with you to get it done, and they have an answer for the problem, why not test it out? Why not see if it works? Why not try to allot some money? Why not try to raise the money to get the kids out there? Why not? It's just a mystery to me. But you can go on TV and promote that, you're having backpack drives. You can say, hey, we got shoes for the homeless or food for the homeless and this and that, or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But me trying to get the kids involved in the community and you're saying something's wrong with that, I really have a problem with that. And if, in the state that wanted me to come, they didn't say it was wrong. They didn't say that it was a bad idea or anything like that. The way they put it was they didn't have the funding for that. Okay, so what's the way we can work it out? So it was a solution to everything. I told them that. I said, well, so it was a solution to everything. We can, raise the money, we can do whatever, but they didn't want to do it. That was just the bottom line. So we talked and talked and talked. So we're supposed to have another meeting coming up soon. And if they agree to the terms, I'm willing to, I want to partner. I don't necessarily want to come in and work. I will partner. That way, excuse me, I can implement my ideas and stuff like that. But we'll talk, soon and we'll see what comes out of it. All right. So once again, I want to say sorry for the late beginning because, I was running late from work and stuff like that. And one thing I want to say is I want to wish all the kids a happy school year. I know next week everybody will be full-fledged back in school. I know that's a happy thing for everybody. And I hope that everyone's school is well manicured. I hope everyone's school is, got some, pruning of the bushes. I hope everybody's school got some, mulch down. I hope everybody's school got, some weed near the beds. I hope everybody's school got a lot of stuff. Okay. But I just want everybody to be able to go to a school that they can be proud of. I want everybody to be able to go to a school that's well manicured, that's well maintained. Because the outside, and I'm going to say it again, and this is my motto, the outside is a reflection of the inside. Bottom line. If you go to the school and the outside is a total in shambles, if the outside is a hot mess, if the outside is, in disarray, 9 times out of 10, the ceiling leaking on the inside. That's just what it is. Mold in the corner. So I mean, that's just what it is. And if I can do something to help, whether you want me to or not, hey, it is what it is. If I see it needs to be done, I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. Okay, because that's what they deserve. That's what they need to be done. Sometimes it's on record. Sometimes it's off record. Okay, so that's just the bottom line. That's the whole situation. And one thing I want to say is I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity. I want to say thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to sit at the table and come up with a solution with you. Hopefully, we can come to a common ground by next meeting. But I do appreciate it because it's allowing me to know, it's letting me know that what I'm doing is getting traction. It's letting me know that people are looking at what I'm doing. Maybe they may not like what I'm doing. They may not comment on what I'm doing, but they're looking at what I'm doing. And hope and in the near future, I know more will be reaching out. Okay. And we will get the youth back into community. We will get the youth back on track. We will get the youth involved in the schools. We will get them involved in everything that needs to be done with the community. Because that's just, I mean, actually, that's just what needs to be done. Okay. It was a lot of other stuff that that was mentioned at the meeting, but I don't want to say too much and far in depth with that because that's not etched in stone. Once we get that etched in stone, then I'll reveal that. But it was a lot more that we were talking about, but I'll let that lie. But that was one of the things that really bothered me, and I told him it bothered me was, if I'm sitting here at the table with you and I'm willing to try to help, and I want to get the kids involved, and we can come up with a program in the summer to get them ready for school year, let's do it. If they don't want to do it, so well, somebody don't want to do it, somebody will. Okay, so that's about it for this episode of the Benton Hour. Okay, um, if you hadn't already, subscribe to the channel, give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment. All feedback is good feedback, in my opinion. How about the channel a little bit? We very much appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, so you'll be abreast of what Ragland Jr. has to offer. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this, later, don't forget to comment so I can look at those comments. That way I can, whether it's good feedback, bad feedback, whatever the case may be, I can take note of it. We can work it out because this is the Benton Hour where we give free expression to come up with great solutions. All right. I love everyone. See you next week. Love you.